Hello everyone, and welcome to our video on adding and subtracting matrices. So to add or subtract matrices, first thing we need to have is that they must be the same size. If they're not the same size, then we would instantly just be done with the problem. We wouldn't be able to add or subtract. And when we do add or subtract, if we add or subtract, all we're doing is just making sure we add or subtract the corresponding elements. Okay, so for number 1 here we've got an addition problem. So it wants us to add corresponding elements. Our final answer, let's just go ahead and get it super big, plenty of space on this. Our final answer will have the same exact size as the two that are being added. Okay, so the sizes of these, as review for vocabulary, the number of rows is 2 and the columns is 3 for both. So these are each 2 by 3 matrices. So that means I'm just going to use placeholders. So our final answer will also be 2 by 3. Okay, and so to do this by hand, I am just going to show, okay, so 6 plus negative 8. And we could do these mentally too. I am just going to show all the work though just to be extra safe. So we've got 6 plus negative 8, negative 3 plus negative 2. This top right one here, 2 plus negative 2. Okay, so we just want to be extra careful. Let me go ahead and color code. So the 6 plus negative 8, just double checking. Negative 3 plus negative 2, that was that one. That looks good. And then we had 2 plus negative 2. Okay, so most of the time the arithmetic isn't that bad, right? These ones are pretty nice. Even if they are crazier numbers, I mean, we could still use a calculator. The main thing is just making sure our eyes don't go blurry and we're looking at the wrong thing being added together. All right, so for our bottom row, we've got 1 plus 10. And then let me go ahead and keep the colors going. 4 plus negative 7. And notice I'm just using parentheses too when it's a negative number. And then our last one is 5 plus 13. And there we go. Okay, and then now all we have to do is just simplify each of these 6 parts. So 6 plus negative 8 is negative 2. And then just leave some space. Negative 3 plus negative 2 would be negative 5. 2 plus negative 2 would be 0. So there's that top row. And then the bottom row, 1 plus 10 is 11. 4 plus negative 7 would be negative 3. 5 plus 13 is 18. And again, just kind of go slow through it. It doesn't take too long most of the time. So it's not, I don't think it's worth trying to speed through it because it is usually, again, pretty easy arithmetic. It's just you don't want to go too fast and accidentally add instead of like adding a negative or whatever, or forgetting a negative sign. Okay, so everything's good here. And if we wanted to really check it, okay, so I've got my calculator ready. So I'm at our free resource, Desmos.com, and I'm just going to go to the matrix calculator. So we can do these on here as well. So new matrix, and we're just going to call that first one A. So it is 2 by 3. So we've got 6, negative 3, 2, 1, 4, 5. Okay, so that's ready, and now I'm just going to press enter, so it's ready. And then new matrix, B is 2 by 3, which is negative 8, negative 2, negative 2, 10, negative 7, and 13. And make sure to type it in. You saw me just almost do 12 there, so be extra careful. Okay, and then all we have to do is, well, we have the operations, but I'm just saying, okay, so I named those A and B, so we have A plus B, and then that's it. All right, so did I get all those numbers? 2, negative 5, 0, yep. 11, negative 3, 18, yep. Okay, so notice the calculator can do it. However, I don't know, it might be faster to actually do these by hand. The other thing that is good about these without a calculator is for like number 4, where if they put variables in it, a lot of calculators can't handle variables. So for instance, like if we go back and change that into like an X, then it's saying there's errors. Okay, so that's where it's still nice to be able to do it by hand. All right, then that's that. So moving it over. There we go. Okay, for number 2, notice that these are different sizes. So we're going to be done with the problem. Okay, so we cannot add or subtract these. Okay, so whatever vocabulary they might say, we might just say no solution or undefined. I'm just going to box those 2. Okay, so they're different sizes. This is, if we just want to get that review in, this has 2 rows and 3 columns. This has 3 rows and 2 columns. Okay, so these, the same, that with the sizes, yes, they have 2, 3 both involved. However, they're not in the exact same order. They are different sizes. We'd have a problem, so there wouldn't be a corresponding element for like this 2. This 2 doesn't have a corresponding element over there. And we wouldn't use just 0. So it looks like I'm trying to write 0 there, but I'm just trying to show like an open circle. So there's nothing. Let me cloud it. There's nothing that it corresponds with. Okay, so that's why we can't add them. Okay, so moving on. So those are the nice ones. So if they give you that, you're done in seconds. All right, the minus, you just have to be a little bit careful with minus. Okay, because it is still going to be like minusing negatives when we have those cases. So for instance, we do see that these are each 2 by 2. So that means our answer, so I'm again just giving myself plenty of space, will also be 2 by 2. And then we just have to make sure we're adding the right things together. So like this 2 minus negative 3. So 2 minus negative 3. And again, use those parentheses on negatives. It will be helpful for you. All right, and then 15 minus negative 4, or not negative 4, just 15 minus 4 this time. Okay, so that minus, maybe highlight it. So that way we know we're doing 15 minus 4 or whatever, minus whatever. Okay, and then we have 7 minus negative 2. And then our last one, I'm out of my colors, I'll just highlight. That would be, and I'll just go ahead. Oops, how about I do like a parenthesis with it? Okay, so we have negative 11 minus negative 6. And there we go. Okay, so there's the setup. So again, I would at least write this out because it doesn't take very long and it could really save some mistakes in case you're just going too fast and you forget to do like a double negative, or if you just don't see a negative or something like that. Okay, so anyway, so our top left one, 2 minus negative 3, that will become 5, so it's really 2 plus 3. 15 minus 4 is 11. And again, just give yourself plenty of space there. 7 minus negative 2, that would become 9 because it's 7 plus 2. And then negative 11 minus a negative 6 would be negative 11 plus 6, which is negative 5. And there we are, all done. Okay, and if we wanted to, we could check it on the calculator. We could go back and rename these matrices or just do a new matrix or whatever. But I think doing it by hand might be more advantageous actually in the long run because of stuff like number 4 here. So in number 4, we do see that it is the same size. Okay, so like these would have implied parentheses on them. Okay, so those multiple terms, we're assuming this is like the one entry in the top left there. Okay, and it is minus. Let me just highlight that. So I think being more careful with minus than plus is a good idea. All right, well, anyway, we do have, all right, so these are each 3 by 2 matrices for their sizes. So 3 rows and then 2 vertical columns. Okay, so that means when we do add or subtract the 2 together, and I'm going to give myself plenty of space. I think that should be enough room. So on this, I hope so. Okay, so I write these pretty big, right? So plenty of space on these. All right, and then anyway, what we need to do is again just add or subtract corresponding elements. So this 2x will minus this 5x minus 7. And again, those have implied parentheses, so it is 2x minus 5x minus 7 like that. So this negative will distribute. Okay, so that's where the variables again get a little tricky. It's easier when it's just regular numbers to catch mistakes like that with negatives. Here, we definitely have to distribute to get this answer. Don't just write minus 5x minus 7. You might miss one of the correct signs. Okay, and then moving on to the next one. So I've got minus or negative 3 minus negative 5. There we go. Okay, and then moving on, I've got 4 minus negative 13. Okay, just collecting them. And then our fourth entry, or at least the way that the fourth one that I'm doing, let's go ahead and highlight. Okay, so just to show my colors. Okay, so we have 5 minus 2y. And then minus, and then again, implied parentheses, 8y plus u. All right, so we've got our implied parentheses. That pink's maybe a little. Let me just go highlight the whole thing. There, so it doesn't look as weird with those kind of weird highlight parentheses. Okay, and then let's actually just go back to the black ink. So I've got 8 and then minus this one, which again has those implied parentheses. So 8 minus 2 plus 3u. And then our last one, let's go back to blue. 6z plus w needs to subtract that. So 6z plus w minus parentheses 3 times 3z minus 4w. And there's where I was trying to give myself plenty of space, and I still almost kind of ran out. Okay, so give yourself plenty of space on at least the first setup. And then now from here, well, again, just be patient. It's just a little bit tedious of getting your like terms together and simplifying. So the whole thing is ready to go setup-wise. The implied parentheses, so these actually also have implied parentheses on them. In the first one, I didn't put them. But it was positive in the front, so we didn't have to worry about it in our setup. So that's why I left them blank on the setup here in this big step. All right, but at this point, we will distribute every negative that we see through these larger expressions. So that's what I'm going to do with, so it looks like it happens 4 times. Actually, this blue one's a little strange because it's really the whole negative. It would be negative 3. Let's go ahead and highlight negative 3 would distribute because that 3 is outside the other parentheses, so it's each of those is distributed in at the same time. So we will just multiply by negative 3 there for the bottom one. Okay, so back to getting our setup going. Okay, so we have 2x and then distribute minus 5x plus 7. And then the top right one, I mean, we could just do that with regular old numbers. Negative 3, it's really negative 3 plus 5, so that would be 2. Again, give yourself plenty of space so we know which ones. Actually, don't even put that there yet in case you need more. But so at this point, we could say, well, yeah, there's space here. This 2 is not part of this expression, so they're different elements. All right, and then the middle left one, I think we could also do. It's really 4 plus 13, so we'll just write 17. And then the middle right one, well, we do need to distribute 5 minus 2y and then minus 8y minus u. Okay, so there's that. And then one more distribute on the bottom left. We've got 8 minus 2 minus 3u. So you gotta be careful, make sure to distribute. That looks good. And then our bottom right one, the 6z plus w is ready, and then we're distributing the negative 3, so it would be minus 9z, and then plus 412. I said 412. 3 times 4 is 12, so plus 12w. Okay, so negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12, and then now I can put my bracket down to see it all. Okay, and I think we've got one more step here. So one more time to simplify. So the top left looks like it's negative 3x plus 7. The top right is good, it's 2. Middle left is good, it's 17. the middle right, it looks like I have two like terms there. 5 minus 10y minus u. The bottom left, 8 minus 2 is 6, and then minus 3u. The bottom right, I have a 6z minus 9z would be negative 3z. And then a w, positive w plus 12w is a positive 13w. And then now we can close it down. And then there's nothing else to do. We can no longer simplify anything. So that means we are done. We did the subtraction. It's ready to go. Okay, well, that's it. So I've got 4 problems here with adding and subtracting. It really is just a patience game, I think. Just take your time with this. Usually the numbers aren't too crazy. So the main thing that occurs as an error is just going too fast and forgetting a sign or something like that. All right, so if you do have any questions, though, please let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.